there guys! So, today we're going to be doing the final review of Black Cleaver. This baby's been out for about a week, little over now. And when I first made my first video, it was about the Black Cleaver, just kind of giving a descriptor, showing some examples of what all could happen. But after this week, we've been taking a look at it, and there have been a lot of chats on the forums. And we have to take a look and give a final verdict to Black Cleaver. So, let's do that. Let's see what we can do. And a little bit of warning, we'll be going over a little bit of math. So when we get to that part, put your thinking Timo hats on because it gets a little bit complicated, but not too much. So, first thing we need to discuss is what is Cleaver's niche? I mean, Cleaver is one of those items that it's supposed to bring AD casters to the front line to be viable once again after they've been in the dark for so very long. Well, Cleaver's niche is really exactly that. It is an AD caster item that reduces armor on not just auto attacks, but on physical attacks as well. So, say a Talon W or a Riven Q or anything like that, a Pantheon Spear, those will reduce armor. But how much? You know, I mean, everyone knows that it's 7.5% times 4, and then you have 15 armor penetration on top of that. So let's take a look at that. And here's the math portion, people. Warning, math ahead. So, Last Whisper versus Cleaver. These are really the two armor penetration items. And you have to decide which one that you want to get. So, Cleaver, 15 armor penetration, plus 7.5% of their armor reduced, multiplied by 4, so this comes out to 30% armor reduction after 4 hits. And then you take 15 armor pen and add that on. Okay? 30% rather, armor reduction plus 15. Now the issue that comes into play here is that 30% is only 5% off from what Last Whisper is now. Last Whisper is 35%. Now, when you take 30% of a target's armor, and say you want to compensate and find out which one, Last Whisper or Black Cleaver, is going to be better for your particular situation. You look at it as though, okay, so I want to reduce 30% of their armor with Black Cleaver, plus 15, or do I want to do 35% base? 35% means that to compensate for Black Cleaver, you have to have over 300 armor after being reduced by a Black Cleaver for that 15 to not be worth it. So this means that if a target after 30% armor penetration has still over 300 armor, this means this target has lost like 100 and some armor after those 4 hits. If they have over 300 still, then the 15 is not worth it, and the Last Whisper will definitely be a much better case. But, unfortunately, that's not true. So when you reduce the target's armor, let's say they were both 30%. What you're doing is you're bringing them, say, so we're at 30%, they have 100 armor. We're bringing them from 100 to 70. You know, everyone can do that math. Then you subtract 15 off for Black Cleaver, whereas you only subtract 5 additional % off that 100 for Last Whisper. Now, mind you, Last Whisper does this instantaneously, so if you're not a really fast attacking champion, then Cleaver isn't going to be your deal. But later on, when people start getting armor penetration, that's when this... or they start getting armor rather, that's when armor penetration really starts coming into play. So they already have attack speed. Anyway, I digress. So, 100 down to 70, then you have to take the additional armor penetration. So you get 15 for Black Cleaver. Okay, now they're down to 55. That's cool, right? Last Whisper, you're only going to subtract 5. So instead, they're at 65, meaning that you have actually only reduce their armor by an additional 5, whereas you reduce it by 15 with a Black Cleaver. Now, when that happens, you know, this is after 4 attacks, nobody has armor. This is true. But this also works with physical abilities. So think of yourself as an attack damage carry, Misfortune. This is one I've seen Black Cleaver on, and it has been devastating. Absolutely nuts. You ult an entire team, dealing physical damage every bullet to the whole team. You have then reduced the entire team's damage before you've even started auto-attacking, mind you, to that 30% minus 15 to whatever target you're going to attack afterwards. You know, or even during, because you're still reducing it while you're casting. You've reduced the entire team's armor by 30%. This is nuts. Combine this with any sort of AoE damage that's physical, like a Riven or Pantheon's Heartseeker Strike, anything like that, you have a very, very devastating combo, and the burst is going to be higher than you could probably get from an AP caster. I mean, Malzahar's burst is nuts. I mean, Annie's burst is nuts. But when you're taking that much armor off, I mean, really, it's not looking so good. So, this, honestly, as a verdict for this thing, this leaves Black Cleaver in a better place than Last Whisper. Because you gain physical damage, sure. But you gain 15 additional damage, cooldown reduction, 250 health, okay, for a little over 800 gold compared to what you would get out of a Last Whisper. This really kind of leaves Last Whisper as the rotten stepchild, if you will, of Black Cleaver. Now, I'm not saying that Black Cleaver is so overpowered. No, we're saying that Black Cleaver is not just a niche item for casters, but that the item is actually beneficial for every single physical damage champion. I mean, think Urgot, stuff like that. People who weren't viable because of the armor curve, Talon, like we saw in our last video, suddenly they're viable again. So, I'm not saying that I don't want people to be viable. What I'm saying is, I think Riot's goal with this was to make an item that could honestly give a large amount of armor penetration to these casters that needed it, but unfortunately they made an item that was also beneficial to AD carries, and in specific circumstances, like with Misfortunes, they can use it even greater potential than an AD caster can. I mean, seriously. So, I think what needs to come out of this is that Black Cleaver needs to be taken either down a slight bit, or Last Whisper needs to be taken up a little bit more, so that the initial armor reduction that you get from Last Whisper is going to counteract the 4-hit reduction that you would get out of Black Cleaver, and make it more of a situational item and less of a required, oh, you're going to get a lot better armor penetration unless the target for some reason has over like 400 armor. Which I don't even know if that's possible outside of stacking Thornmail. So, honestly, that's my opinion on this whole thing. The Black Cleaver is a good item, but it needs to be more niche. I mean, after a week of looking at this baby's strong. It is potent, and it's bringing armor, it's taking armor out of the game. It really is. I mean, it's not that armor is completely gone. Okay, I'll contradict what I've said. Armor is not gone. It still helps. But when Black Cleaver is reducing so much of your armor that it's like having a Last Whisper with health, more damage, and cooldown reduction, that's a little bit over the top. That's a little strong. So, alright guys, I would love to know what you have to think on this, because Black Cleaver is a big topic right now, and we want Riot to hear our voice. We need them to. We need them to be able to hear that this item is not just for AD casters, kind of like it was built to be, you know? So, let me know what you think. This is a discussion after all. My name is Fovox. We'll see you guys next time.